Good morning. We are living in a strange age. An age that is beset with issues, with conundrums that often escape our attention. Today I'll like to focus on one of the issues which is at a great concern to us. But do we know the reasons of that conundrum? The biggest conundrum facing common person today is that what he wants is expensive. What he needs is beyond his approach until he mortgages his own life, the future life, to get that. And what he doesn't need, what he doesn't want immediately, what he can do without today is so cheap, so easily available that imagination staggers. Necessities in this world are very expensive. Luxuries, they are very cheap. There was a time when the people used to have need for the luxuries. They would look at the people around them and be jealous of them that they could have such a luxurious, comfortable life. And they used to think, they wish they could be in their shoes. Today the position seems to have been reversed. You can have a great 70-inch LCD TV with Wi-Fi. You can have the finest iPhones. You can have the finest computer. You can have great heating and cooling system. You can have finest branded things. Comfortable, good, easily available. And they're beyond your reach. Not beyond your reach, they are within your reach. You have a great TV, but where do you put it? The basic necessities of life, a place you can call home, is beyond you. Have you ever noticed how the prices have jumped across in the last 15 years? I was having a look at it, and food and housing has increased by almost 26%. My God. The housing costs, the health costs have doubled. Textbooks and higher education has increased 3 times. And that is just in a short span of 15 years. There was a time when you had a home with a good courtyard, comfortable. Today you can have a pigeonhole, and that too beyond your means. Again, my question to you is, do you know the reason thereof? Simple. It is the effect of globalization and competitive economy of which we are so fond of. The economy that is craved by most of us, especially our political leaders, and of course the businessmen. And businessmen would want you to have it. And the political leaders want you to have it because they get the spin-off effects, the benefits, which you don't have. Now imagine, why are those things much cheaper? They are cheaper for one and simple reason, that they are being produced in a multitude, and when there is an abundant supply, the prices tend to fall. You know, this is a conundrum. Had the globalization not been there, and had the competitiveness not been to this level of being cutthroat competition, things would have moved at their natural course, slowly increasing as the population grows, the needs grow, and you cater to those needs. And then came in the purveyors of wealth and luxury. To begin with, the luxury was much more expensive than the necessity. And today is the other way around for the simple reason. While the necessities of life cannot keep pace with the needs, there will always be a shortage of them. The factory produced, mass produced things can multiply exponentially, creating a glut in the market, thereby making them easily affordable. You see, imagine a condition where you want to have a luxurious home, but you know you can't afford it. You can afford a nice car, but you can't afford a garage to put it in. As I said earlier, you can have an excellent TV, and the cost of TV is a fraction for the cost of the wall where you want to place it. This is the real conundrum of the life that is facing you today, and you don't seem to be aware of that. Sometimes I see that all the prices are falling for one reason only, that the people have become. Today they want to live up to Joneses, that every facility that is available to them may be available to them as available to their neighbors should be with them as well. Fine. And that creates an economic issue. You see, I'm not taking it from any other issue, but from the economic issue. You are forced to buy by dint of advertisement, as a result of your suicidal tendency to be jealous and live up to your Jones, that has enabled the businessman to exploit this mental obsession of yours, gave you the promise that you can live up to your neighbor, you can compete with the neighbor, and even beat him. So here's a mass-produced thing brought to your doorstep by mail order, with all the promise of being returned in case you are not satisfied for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, taking it back without demur. And they know that once you are habituated to that, you would have no compunction in keeping it. You will have no problem in spending the money, and always thinking the money was well spent, little knowing that after a year or so, the thing would become redundant. You know what Huxley wrote in his word, Brave New World, in his book, that was a great novel. He forecast this when he talked of the cinema and the feelies, that the actor kisses the actress and you sitting on your chair with an armrest, with a sensor over there, can feel the kiss on your lips. Where the food is conveyed to you via a tube. You don't have to move out of the house. And that's the situation coming today. The normal necessities of life would keep on getting expensive for two reasons: that the houses still are built by hand. Even when there are modular houses, they have to be done by hand. So it's a semi-automated process. All the raw material is processed. It comes up and then the human ingenuity builds it up. Secondly, unless you want to be in a multi-story house, You need land as well. So by building vertically, we are reducing the need of the land. But what about the need of water, which is another necessity? What about the need of air, which is getting polluted every day? And as I said in one of my comments, that 92% of us breathe an air which is contaminated, which is polluted, which gives rise to disease, respiratory, lung, anything. Incidentally, this shortage of the necessities is creating a huge market for the Medicare and the pharmaceuticals. So see how the globalization of the competitive economy is in fact hurting your basic self. And yet, when a leader comes who says, okay, he realizes the fact that, okay, be within yourself. Luxuries are good, but more important and more good is necessities of life. Your school education, 3 hours, they are easily available. You want to go into higher education and you are doomed. They think that this is not your privilege. How expensive university and the college education is. You cannot pay off the debt even after working 20 years. What sort of necessity of I consider education to be necessity. I don't think it to be luxury. It's a birthright of every human being to have a proper education. As he has a right to have a proper house, as he has a right to have a clean water and clean air. And all these are not available. What about the health care? The emergency time is extending into weeks. There have been instances when the people had to wait for 6 months for a hip surgery or a knee surgery. What sort of services are we giving them? And that is despite the fact that the pharmaceutical industry today is the most profitable industry in the world, with a profit ranges between 200 to 250%. Are you aware of that? No. But that is where the modern capitalism is failing us. You see, I'm all a proponent of capitalism. Nothing generates more productivity than self-interest. And capital is sign of self-interest. That being so, we have also got to realize that until and unless capitalism is self-enlightened and enlightened for the sake of humanity, it loses its right to be called an igniter of growth. Growth has to be organic, developmental, which it is not. And that's why this conundrum of abundance on one side and scarcity on the other is arising. Unfortunately, the abundance is the abundance of luxuries, not the abundance of necessities. Abundance is abundance of enervating comforts, not of hardening soul and body's necessities. We need to change our perception and we need to change our systems. Systems may not be able to alter by the force of an individual, but you can always change your attitudes. And the attitude is simple. You should always ensure that you buy things which you need, not what you think you need. Not by buying things that you should possess. Declutter yourself. And when you declutter, start the process of decluttering, the industry would understand the need. And slowly the proper balance would prevail. Now I'm talking about it because I'm concerned. The way our population is going up, We have crossed 7 billion. We are going to be 9 billion within the next 15 years. Our resources are scarce. They are being put to the alternative uses. And another issue is coming is the artificial intelligence and robotics. With that, the incidence of the displacement of services and the employment opportunities will reduce to begin with. Later on it will go up, I don't deny it. I'm not a pessimist about that. My forthcoming book on artificial intelligence shows that I'm all in favor of it because it's going to give us alternative measures to improve the quality of our life. But that depends on you as well. And our leaders have got to ensure that the necessities of life become attainable, achievable, and mostly at a competitive price. They have got to ensure that the luxuries are good, but necessities are necessities, and you cannot sacrifice them. The conundrum that we are facing today has to change, and the luxuries should be consigned to the third or the fourth level of our priorities. Let's not forget, no man can survive without necessities, but you can survive without luxuries. At the most, luxuries enervate you. They make you weak and succumb to the further luxuries rather than facing and helping you earn your bread by the sweat of the brow. Think about it. Good day.